Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday, May the 5th, Breakfast Read Aloud. Our story for today is When I Was Young in the Mountains by Cynthia Rylant, the same West Virginia author, not another West Virginia, same author. But this one's illustrated by Diane Good. This one also a Caldecott Honor Book for its illustrations. And this one was about being in the mountains and having family visit. When I was young in the mountains. Here's the title page, When I Was Young in the Mountains by Cynthia Rylant. Dedication page for my grandparents, Elda and Farrell Rylant. That's Cynthia Rylant's dedication. For Nicole and Christopher Capuzzo. That is the Diane Good, the illustrators. When I was young in the mountains, Grandfather came home in the evening, covered with black dust of a coal mine. Only his lips were clean, and he used them to kiss the top of my head. When I was young in the mountains, Grandmother spread the table with hot cornbread, pinto beans, and fried okra. That sounds delicious. Later, in the middle of the night, she walked through the grass with me to the Johnny house and held my hand in the dark. I promised never to eat more than one serving of okra again. Do you see that? That's a Johnny house or an outhouse. Back a long time ago, there wasn't toilets inside your house that you could flush. You had to go out to these houses. And they didn't actually have flushable toilets either. When I was young in the mountains, we walked across the cow pasture and through the woods carrying our towels. The swimming hole was dark and muddy, and we sometimes saw snakes. But we jumped in anyway. I don't know if I could jump in anyway. On our way home, we stopped at Mr. Crawford's for a mound of white butter. Mr. Crawford and Mrs. Crawford looked alike and always smelled of sweet milk. When I was young in the mountains, we pumped pails of water from the well at the bottom of the hill and heated the water to fill round tin tubs for our baths. Because also they didn't have water that ran through a spigot in their home. Like we just go turn it on and we could have a full bathtub in just seconds. You had to pump it out and then you had to get it hot. And there's the tubs they bathed in. Afterwards, we stood in front of the old black stove, shivering and giggling while Grandmother heated cocoa on top. When I was young in the mountains, we went to church in the schoolhouse on Sundays and sometimes walked with the congregation through the cow pasture to the dark swimming hole for baptisms. My cousin Peter was laid back into the water and his white shirt stuck to him, and my grandmother cried. When I was young in the mountains, we listened to frogs sing at dusk and awoke to cowbells outside our windows. Sometimes a black snake came in the yard and my grandmother would threaten it with a hoe. And there's the hoe. There's the snake. If it did not leave, she used the hoe to kill it. Four of us once draped a very long snake, dead of course, across our necks for a photograph. I know somebody in our class that would like that photograph. When I was young in the mountains, we sat on the porch swing in the evenings, and my grandfather sharpened my pencil with his pocket knife. Grandmother sometimes shelled beans and sometimes braided my hair. The dogs lay around us, and the stars sparkled in the sky. A bob white whistled in the forest. Bob, bob, bob white. That's a bird. When I was young in the mountains, I never wanted to go to the ocean, and I never wanted to go to the desert, and I never wanted to go anywhere else in the world, for I was in the mountains, and that was always enough. The end. I just can't imagine never wanting to go anywhere else or see anything else. That's kind of amazing that she didn't. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed your Tuesday Read Aloud. Bye.